If you have been building with LLMs for any amount of time, you've hit this exact crossroads. Should I fine tune the model? Should I use RAG? Or can I just engineer a better prompt? And here's the truth, most people are picking the wrong one. Not because they don't understand these techniques, but because nobody clearly explains when each one actually belongs. That's what this video is about. Let's start with the mental model. Think of these as three different tools in your LLM toolbox. Prompt engineering is about how you talk to the model, RAG is about what information you give it, fine tuning is about who the model becomes. That's the North Star, and everything else flows from this. Prompt engineering is your first stop, always. Before you even think about the other two, ask this particular question: can a well structured prompt solve this? The answer is yes, more often than people expect. System prompts, few short examples, chain of thought instructions, these are incredibly powerful. Where it breaks down is when the model genuinely doesn't know something, either because the information is private, recent, or highly specialized. But here's where prompting hits a wall. If the information doesn't exist in the model's weights, your internal docs, last week's news, your product catalogs, no amount of prompt engineering will pull it out. The model will hallucinate, and this is the exact gap that RAG was built to fill. RAG solves the knowledge problem without touching the model's weights. At runtime, you retrieve the most relevant documents from your database, that is your PDFs, your Notion pages, your product docs, and inject them into context window before the model answers. The model now has the information it needs, and this is why RAG has become the default architecture for enterprise AI assistants. It keeps knowledge up to date without a single GPU hour of training. See, RAG is fantastic for knowledge, but what if your problem isn't knowledge? What if the model consistency gets the tone wrong, refuses to follow your output format, or doesn't understand the specific vocabulary of your domain deeply enough? And you can stuff the context window with examples, but at some point, you're fighting the model's instincts rather than working with them. That's a signal to consider fine tuning. Fine tuning changes the model itself. You take a base model and train it further on your curated dataset, that is hundreds of thousands of examples of exactly the same input output behavior you want. And now the model is different. It responds in your brand voice. It always returns JSON in your schema. It understands your domain jargon natively. This is powerful, but it comes with real costs, time, money, and iteration speed. You just don't fine tune whenever you want. Look, here's a framework I want you to walk away with. Before you pick a technique, diagnose a problem. Is the model missing information? That's a RAG problem. Is the model's behavior consistently wrong despite good prompts? That's fine tuning candidate. Is the model capable but just needs direction? That's prompt engineering. So these are not competing tools, they are sequential decisions. In real production systems, these techniques layer on top of each other. A customer support bot might be fine tuned to match your brand voice, use a RAG to pull your information from knowledge base, and still have a carefully engineered system prompt to control its behavior. Knowing when to add each layer and in what order is what separates good AI engineers from great ones. So here's a recap. Prompt engineering is your fastest, cheapest lever, so always start here first. RAG is your knowledge layer. Use it when the model needs information it wasn't trained on. Fine tuning is your behavior layer. Use it when you permanently need to reshape how the model acts itself. And pick the right tool for the right problem, and you'll build AI systems that actually work. If this clicked for you, subscribe button helps a lot. And drop in the comments what you would like me to cover next. See you in the next one. Thank you.